All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. My name is Kay Stewart. As we're waiting for people to come on, I will just update you as to why we're on today. We are featuring all of our summit partners for the Feed Real Summit that is on October 11th and 12th. And today I get to talk with Odette from Alphavet. And I am so excited to see her again. I got to meet her the last couple of years at Summit. Her products are amazing. And we will have a great conversation about her products. But again, if you haven't gotten your tickets for the Feed Real Summit, it's October 11th and 12th. We have an amazing lineup. It has been race approved for 10.5 CEs for all veterinary personnel. And so that is a really great incentive to get your veterinarian on board. You may want to tell them about this because to get 10 CEs or 10 and a half CEs for the amount of money that we are charging for the summit is an amazing deal for them. So I'm really hoping to get more veterinary personnel there this year, but of course all dog parents are welcome too. And we're so excited for the summit. So we're going to start off today with Odette. I'm going to have you introduce yourself and your company, and we will go from there.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us here. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm Odette, founder of Alphavet in Mexico. And for over 14 years, I've been helping dogs thrive with raw functional nutrition. And today, I think I want to go deeper than the typical raw versus kibble debate.
Great. I agree.
Good. So we do raw food, and our formulas are based more in a Franken-prey model because we try to get all the nutrients we have from natural sources.
Yes.
Right? So that's what I think I want to talk about. It's about it's something about most nutritionists and even bar feeders don't fully understand, which is the difference between nutrients that are present and nutrients that are truly processed. Because nourishing is not just about the ingredients, it's about bioavailability,
yes,
diversity, and vitality. You know what I mean? It's a really hard word for me, bioavailability.
Bioavailability, yeah.
Yes. But the thing with this is I like to teach people that a nutrient, it's only useful if the body absorbs and uses it.
Absolutely.
You know, otherwise it's not functional at all. I mean, I found out that most barf diets rely on synthetic vitamin and minerals, which is the same as a kibble, and like calcium carbonate, zinc sulfate, vitamin D, that are just made in a lab. So it's important to understand this because they are added to complete the diet.
Yes.
But the body does not absorb synthetic nutrients the same way it absorbs the food-based ones. You know, let me give you an example. Maybe synthetic iron can cause constipation and lots of oxidative stress compared to iron from liver or spleen, which are highly absorbed, you know, and also like ascorbic acid and vitamin C. Food-bound vitamin C in adrenal glands or fermented fruits, it's totally bioavailable compared to ascorbic acid, you know, which are the synthetic nutrients. So I found out that, you know, lots of people ask me, like, do I have to add something extra to the dish, the bowl for dogs? Like, I see pictures with lots of pills and capsules and fish oil and all that. So real nutrients come bound to enzymes, cofactors, and fats.
Exactly.
So that's what makes them biologically active. You know, it's like some people maybe don't understand what cofactors are, but they are like the keys that turn on the enzymes in the body. Without them, many biological reactions simply don't happen or happen poorly. If I'm wrong, you can correct me.
No, and I think that that's exactly what goes on with the creation of medications, right? They find one component and within a whole food or a plant or something, and then they extract that one component, but by itself, it doesn't do anything. It's those cofactors and all of those things that are biologically linked together, that synergistically work together, that causes the reaction in the body's, the dog's body.
Yeah, exactly that. Most synthetic supplements are isolated.
Yes.
So they don't come with the necessary cofactors. So the best case scenario is that the body may ignore them or flush them out or just even get stressed trying to see how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's stress. We put extract into the body, and we are trying to feed raw or natural foods or pre-cooked foods, but because we are trying to avoid ultra-processed foods, but also the synthetic vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that are added into the food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when nutrients comes from real food like organs, seafood, or fermented ingredients, they come with their cofactors built in. Mm-hmm. So that's why food-based nutrients are more powerful and more usable, and of course safer, than an oxidated fish oil.
Right.
You can find in a commercial store or anything like that. So I think that there's that you give lots of you give the certifications, right? Mm-hmm. So I have found out that one mistake I see in homemade or balanced raw foods that I think it happens the same to you. It's that it's a lack of organ diversity. People usually use only liver, kidney, or lungs because it's the things that you can find easily in the butchery or in the corner. But nature offers so much more, which are like brains, which are rich in cholesterol and vitamin 12, phospholipids, or pancreas, which are a rich source of natural enzymes. Because some people come to me and ask me oh, can I have some digestive enzymes for my dog? And I say just use the raw with the right organs and you will get enough enzymes for any other process. Or adrenal glands, spleen, eye glands. If you cannot get them, you can find freeze-dried blends. But organs, we need to understand that organs are not extra.
Yeah.
They are nature's multivitamins and they are bioavailable. So
absolutely.
That's why we like to rotate all the time the proteins, the organs, the ingredients, because we need to complete these micronutrient profiles without synthetic powders.
Yes, and I think that's one of the key things that we bring up over and over and over in our content and our courses, that variety is so important. Sourcing is important and variety is important. So it's not just, throwing meat and vegetables in a bowl and thinking that that's complete. You're right. Those organs are so overlooked in human consumption nowadays. And that's, for the dogs, that's where they're going to get those multivitamins and minerals.
Yes, I mean, adding powders to the food might seem safe, or getting vitamins might seem safer because we get them in a bottle, medicine label, or something like that. But synthetic, but here's what science and experience tell us. Synthetic vitamins don't come with cofactors, so the body struggles to use them. Synthetic minerals even can disrupt the gut microbiome and trigger even inflammation, which we are fighting against. We are trying to avoid inflammation, and sometimes we add some.
Wait, what happened? All of a sudden, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I can't hear you all of a sudden. I don't know what happened. Let me try taking this off and see. Okay, go ahead and speak. No, I can't. Interesting. All of a sudden it cut out. I don't know if it's my computer. I hope other people can hear us. Can one of you that's on, can you let us know if you can hear both of us? Okay.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm like,
in Spanish, so I just.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna hook me back up so my dog doesn't make a bunch of noise behind me. Okay, it looks like we're back on track here. Okay. All right, are we back? All right, now I don't see or hear you again, Odette. So whatever you did for a second, no, go ahead.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, good. Oh, no problem.
No
There's
problem.
Lives. I'm a jinx. Always something happens.
Okay, so we were talking about synthetic vitamins, and we were saying that they don't come with cofactors, that the body struggles to use them. So synthetic vitamins can disrupt the gut microbiome and can trigger inflammation, which we are looking to fight against. You know, we are trying to fight against inflammation, and sometimes we think that adding some fish oil totally oxidated without knowing the sourcing and everything can trigger that kind of inflammation in your dog, you know, when you are looking to get the opposite effect. So yeah, some can be toxic even in raw forms or even in the doses. So I think that supplementing, it's not just about checking the boxes. It's about choosing forms that work with the body, not against it, you know. So we can use nutrient dense ingredients instead, like seasonal meats, varied organs, eggshell membranes, seafood, fermented foods, herbs, adaptogen, whole prey. We got lots of options before getting into lab synthetic nutrient to add to our dog's bowl. We are trying to get the most natural of it, and we are just adding some synthetics. So it's not, because let me share some data with you. I think maybe you know it, but not all nutrients are created equal. Scientific studies even show that nutrients that comes from whole foods are more absorbable and more effective than synthetic ones. For example, vitamin B6 from natural sources, it's absorbed like 2.5 times better, and it's retained in the body 1.5 times longer in the liver compared to its synthetic version. So food-based vitamin C, it's absorbed more gradually in the body and used more effectively by the body than the ascorbic acid, for example, you know. So it's what we were talking about, because whole food nutrients come with their cofactors, enzymes, and carriers that the body recognizes and uses. So synthetic powders or vitamins lack that. They are giving the body a key without the lock. You know, if I don't know if I explain it.
I like that analogy. They don't fit correctly.
They don't feel correctly. Yeah.
Right. And so the body's finding a way to excrete them or store them. So some of the research I've done on copper is the synthetic copper being used in a lot of dog foods. The dog's body has no idea what to do with. So it tucks it away in the liver. And then it gets this copper associated liver disease because there's all this storage of this synthetic copper and it doesn't know what to do with it. And so I think some of the synthetics are actually more bioavailable in that the body will uptake them, but that doesn't mean they're being utilized. So that's two different things. Yes, the body can take them. And so that may be what the feed companies are saying. Oh, the body can take these up, no problem. but can the body utilize?
Utilize, of course. So instead of topping up with artificial powders,
Yes.
we should build nutrition from the source. That's what the body truly absorbs, and that's how we nourish our dogs or pets at home, and not just feed them, because it's not the same.
Right.
So I like to say that real nutrition, it's not about perfection. It's more about precision, instinct, and listening to the body. So you don't need to copy a textbook. You need to understand how the body works, how it absorbs, and how it heals. Makes a big difference when you are learning to feed raw to your dogs, or when you are a pet parent concerned about giving the best, and they're like, oh, I need to do all these boxes. No, I mean, just keep a rotation, keep a wider rotation, so you can give to your dog a wider variety of nutrients that he can use, not just flush them out or make them like an expensive pee. In the best case of scenario, an expensive pee, which is the same with the humans.
Well, and I think that's what's so frustrating with the concept of complete and balanced that dog food manufacturers are able to put on their product, because just because, like you said, they checked all these boxes does not mean that the dog is going to utilize those nutrients. And that's a very big misnomer in my eyes.
Yeah, it is. So if you are going to get the course with Kay, or if you are just a vet or a formulator or a pet parent, ask yourself, are you truly nourishing or just feeding and supplementing?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, that will make a big difference. And just understanding this, also we get like a big impact. It's like a butterfly effect, we have healthy dogs, happier humans, and then cleaner environments.
Exactly. Well, and I think things that we've gotten away from because of convenience is really observing what happens when you give your dog or even yourself a specific type of food and how your body reacts to it, and watching your dog and how they react to, the changes you make, these small changes, and just making those observations. I think it can be so bonding with your dog if you're that close to them, and really looking at, how is it impacting them? How are they thriving on what I'm feeding rather than just surviving?
Exactly the same, and it applies to human beings as well. I mean, I drink bone broth when I'm in the store, and people ask me like, oh, I need something for the joints of my dog. And they told me to get this kind of chondroitin and this kind of collagen and stuff. And I say, like, just get him bone broth. Oh, but it will work. Oh, I'll say, look at me.
I love that.
I drink bone broth every day.
I haven't gotten to that point. I need to, but I always have it in the freezer for the dog. I think she eats better than I do.
Well, usually that's how we start, our dogs eat better than we do. But then I'm just serving them the dinner or something. I'm just thinking like, I'm starving. I haven't eaten in all day. So it's a connection we get with our dogs. If you're gonna use it in your dog, you should be able to use it on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes. Some people think that because it's for the dog, it can be like a waste or a cheaper thing, or it's not. It's exactly the same. We in Alphavet, we like to say that we feed from the source, not that.
Yeah.
There is no traceability. That's another hard word.
Sure. How do you feel about seasonality? So do you try to feed according to what's available in the seasons?
Yes. Usually I go to a farmer's market every Tuesday, which is local and organic, and they have usually seasonally herbs, plants, leafy greens, different roots. So that I kill two birds with one shot. I get seasonally stuff, and I don't get higher prices because they are local and they are from the season. which makes a big difference in the budget, because some people believe that it's so expensive to feed your dog naturally and fully nourished, but it's not. And here in Mexico, we have this advantage that we have lots of different fruits, vegetables that change according to the season. So that's why we say we need to feed the rainbow. And of course, we have 100% of traceability, which make us sure the sourcing of our meats, and we know the composition, that the fats of our meats are better and richer in omega fatty acids that don't cause inflammation. Because if we have a kettle that is fed with just grains, their fat is going to be mainly omega fatty 6 acids, and they cause inflammation too. So it happens a lot of people come to me and says like, my dog is allergic to meat. And you're like, what kind of meat? Chicken, beef, lamb. So he only eats salmon kibble from the Costco.
Oh gosh.
And I'm just like, and it worked. Yes, it worked a little bit, but it didn't finish the problem. So when your dog has chronic inflammation in its gut, it's gonna be chronic inflammation in all his system. So of course it's not working well, it's not feeling well, and most cases the dog is not behaving well because he's inflamed, he has colitis, he doesn't want to be touched. So sometimes we tend to think that it's the thyroid, or let's check the hormones or the environment of the house, but they never stop to check about the food you're giving to your dog. Sorry. Some people say like, oh, my dog won't eat the kibble till he's starving. Even if I put something extra, he won't eat it till he's starving. And I say like, maybe your dog is getting reflux with the oxidated oils that comes in the kibble, or maybe he's allergic, or he's having a reaction to the infinity list of that you have of ingredients. So it's really hard to understand what's causing the damage to your dog.
Right.
So you need to stop and check first what's on the label of your dog's food, if you can pronounce it, or you even know it. You can even Google it without any kind of mistake. So I don't know who taught us to feed kibble to our dogs, but it's something that needs to change, because it's becoming like, at least here in Mexico, that people is not that aware of this kind of nutrition. We need to understand that our dogs, even if it's domesticated, if it's a Chihuahua, if it's a Grand Danés, if it's an hybrid werewolf, it needs to eat meat and fresh food, just real and live food, just live fermented, like kefir. I mean, you are feeding your dog, just topping up the bowl, but just not starting to think about where it comes from. Maybe my dogs get reflux, maybe he get inflamed in his stomach, and maybe that's why he doesn't want to eat it. But when he's starving, he needs to eat something. So it becomes like a vicious cycle.
And I think what's happened, I mean, aside from marketing that the kibble companies are amazing at, I think over the years, so I think back to my dogs growing up, and we fed them kibble, but kibble was different 40 years ago than it is now. And the process has gotten more, where it's killing off more of the nutrients. The process is different. And also the quality of what is going into it has really declined. So the combination of the processing and what's being processed, and then all the additives that they have to add back because they kill everything. Like you said, it's a dead food. It's not a live food. And the palatants and the preservatives and everything, that's what your dog's reacting to. And so when people come to me and say their dogs are allergic to chicken, and I'm like, okay, your dog, how do you know that? Well, we tried this chicken food, and no matter what, they're always allergic to it. And so it's getting people to understand what those other ingredients are contributing to, right? So it's not necessarily the chicken if there was good quality chicken in there. It's everything else.
I mean, I think you say something important that people comes and say, like, my dog is allergic. Okay, how can you tell your dog is allergic? No, he has allergy to its food. Ah, okay. Stop here. It is a real food allergy or is a food intolerance because they are
Exactly.
completely different. So when people come to me and they say like, oh, my dog has dermatitis and he has like otitis pretty often, and we have to shave the ears, the hair of the ears, because they are like oily pretty often, and he smells bad when we shower him and it doesn't last long. So there are two different kinds of food intolerances. So that's not a food allergy, because if it was a food allergy, the how do you call the mouth? The mouth, the paws, probably they will get uh, inflammation and red, and probably your dog will get loosey stools or vomit. But that's an allergic reaction, which is totally different
Right.
to a food intolerance, which they say like, oh, my dog is allergic to chicken. Why? Because he has dermatitis. Well, that's not allergy, that's an intolerance. So it's important to let them understand the difference between both of them, because then they go with the pet, with the dermatologist, and they just get like a Cytopoint or any kind of corticoid. And I say like, ask yourself, this medication is for what? It's an anti-inflammatory. So what are you trying to anti-inflammate? what, what kind of inflammation are you fighting? Why you are injecting to your dog a corticoid that will stop inflammation? Because it's numbing the immune system, but it's not working the root. So
Exactly.
you need to restore the microbiome from the inside, ease out the inflammation, and then finish with the leaky gut, which is in the 90 in from 100 of dogs I see, I can tell you like 90% they have leaky gut, and it's amazing. And if they don't have leaky gut, they have how do you say, levadura? You know, this fungus.
Dysbiosis and
Yes,
fungal
because
diseases.
the levadura feeds from the starch,
Mhm.
from the, because they say like, I got a grain-free food. Okay, what's in the ingredients? Chickpeas,
Other legumes,
green beans,
beans, yeah.
potatoes,
Mhm.
flour from the chicken. So it's really easy. The solution is just switch the food for something basic.
Mhm.
You don't need to go so complicated with the food and just do like a pilgrimage with all the veterinarians you can find, because they cannot control the problem of dermatitis or losing hair, or just your dogs having chronic otitis all the time.
Mhm.
So it's important for the humans. I like to talk to the humans like that, because otherwise we are all the beasts in this kingdom. But human beings needs to understand that, because at the end they are the ones that chooses the food for their dogs,
Right.
and that kind of food is the one that make a difference about having a dog or living with your dog,
Mhm.
which is completely different. So we want to be happy, so we need our dogs to be happy so we can be happy too.
And it's a difference between surviving and thriving, because so many people, well, my dog does fine on kibble. Okay, that's what you're seeing on the surface. But let's look down the line. What's going to happen, as your dog is struggling? And then all of a sudden, the dog is very sick out of the blue. Well, no, it's been building up for years
Yes.
based on what you're feeding. And so, yes, getting people to understand that about their dog and themselves. That's
Yeah, I mean, it's something like, if your dogs and or human beings, we have the power of, we have secreting organs, they clean themselves, they help us to detoxify the body. But if you're toxifying the body every day,
all the time.
no matter how many times your body detoxifies, you keep on adding the toxins. So there's a moment where the glass gets totally full.
Right.
And it's when the allergic reactions come out, which are not allergic. So yeah, some people tend to say that his dog is allergic to everything, and it's just like a leaky gum issue, and that's it.
Right. Right. And it comes down to common sense once you start to get the concepts. I think once people have that aha moment, they're like, oh, you're right. Why should I feed this ultra processed stuff when I'm told not to eat ultra processed? And yet the veterinary community is still saying feed ultra processed. And that's, I think, the gap that you and me and all of us on this mission are trying to overcome.
That's it. That's why I try to educate each human that step up in our stores. We try to explain them, I don't care if they don't buy the product. I don't care. But as long as they get that aha moment and say, like, that seems so obvious, why I didn't think about it, that makes a big difference, because after that they will come back.
Right. Once you know it, it's like you can't turn back away from it, and
Yes.
I my story is that I got this position at the Feed Real Institute, and that's when I learned all this. Most people, it's because their dog was sick and, they dug deep, and that's not how it was for me. But the aha moments hit me so hard. It's like, what have I been doing all these years? So I love talking to people and watching their expressions as we talk about things, and especially, pet owners that are talking to me, and that you can see that light bulb go on. Like, wait a minute, what do you say?
That's really nice to see, I love to presence that when I explain them that maybe the dog is not eating the food, not because he's just like, we would like to call them dogs here, they are like mañosos, they don't want to eat the food because they want us to put like some eggs, scrambled eggs and stuff, but it's not that the real thing. The thing is that your dog is not eating his kibble because probably he gets other kind of reaction like acid reflux. I mean, I love tempura, but I will never eat it because each time I grab even a small piece, I get a reflux that can kill me. To some dogs, you are feeding them oxidated fats, and that's logical. They're gonna get acid reflux or colitis or inflammation, and they are not just they don't want to be touched, as I said before, because I have seen cases like that. There was a human that has a Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua bite her hand, and she had to get like 5 stitches. But the Chihuahua was pretty mad. So she took the Chihuahua to the dog school, and the dog school told them, like, no, check a hormone profile. So they checked the hormone profile, and the dog was fine, but he was indigested all the time. He wasn't able to digest its food, and it was inflamed 24/7. So he just barely wanted to be touched, like, no, don't touch me. Right, so as soon as he switched the food, the dog behavior totally changed. And that was a case for me that I was just like, wow, I just can presence this, that this is really, really, it's happening in most houses with dogs, that the dogs don't want to eat. It's not because you feed them already from your scraps and he doesn't want the kibble anymore. It's not that. Because if the dog is hungry, he will eat.
Right. Well, I think dogs are so intuitively smart that they're like, this is not food, and if I put this in my body, it makes my body feel bad. And so, we have to think about that with ourselves. When we, are really, really hungry and we eat something that's not good for our body, you don't end up feeling well. If you eat a good high protein meal, wow, you have mental clarity, you can think, you can, that thriving, and that's what we need for the animals. So with your products, do you have what would be full meals, or how does your place work?
Okay, we have that's why I say we do a Franken-prey model, because we try to make a whole prey. Sometimes it's pretty hard to make a whole prey by just one ingredient. So that's why usually we get two different kinds of proteins, because we get organ, glands, brains, eyes, the fur. Last year I took like the faces of the cows and the foods and everything, and that's fiber, that's nature's fiber. You can find it, and it's a rich source of minerals as well, like hair, nails. So we try to have all together, so you don't have to add anything extra in the bowl of your dog, because we are trying to switch the ingredients according to the season. So we are giving to your dog a wider variety of nutrients, different kinds of vitamins, because vitamins also has different presentations and forms. So we feed different kinds of vitamin C, vitamin A. So that's why make the difference between a barf feeder and a whole prey feeder, which you don't have to stress and worry about anything else, or spend your money in extra vitamins, or having fish oil or probiotics or enzymes for your dog. So we try to do all together. And also we have, for example, like the freeze-dried organ blends. We have a lot, and we use it for the bar feeders, for example, because when they come to me and they say like, no, but this is really cheap, the barf against the Franken-prey is really cheap. Yeah, it's cheap for you, but have you checked out how many extra you change? How much extra you spend in the fish oil, in the corticoid, or whatever? Because they say like, I'm feeding my dog barf, but he's allergic now to chicken. Well, you can have a food intolerance if you eat chicken, because at the end it's a mono diet.
Right.
Even if it's a fresh, natural diet, it's a mono diet. So you only have one kind of protein, one kind of enzymes, one kind of stuff. So you need to have, like, I like to tell the people, the most cosmopolitan is the microbiome population, the better.
Right. Yeah, that's, like I said, we really harp on variety with the feed reel. And I think that that's one of the things that worries me when people get recipes where they are very, very exact. I need this many, milligrams of this and this many grams of that. And then they find a diet that works and they don't want to change it. And so then it's a mono diet, like you said, whereas variety is going to hit all those pain points instead.
All those check boxes, right? Like that's why you don't need to be so perfect if you are taking care of giving variety, feeding variety.
Yes.
Even in the preschooler, I think I got teach like, oh, you need to feed the rainbow, and there's this picture with all the vegetables and the fruits of every colors. So it applies the same. And they say like, why do you have fruits and vegetables in your Franken-prey model if Franken-prey models or whole prey model doesn't use vegetables or fruits? Well, we use it in a really small percentage, but it's fermented. It's emulating what the prey ate before it got killed. So it's something like that, we try to get it like that. And it has worked perfectly, because I have been feeding dogs for 15 years. And each time someone steps into my store or try to get some information from us, they are like, oh, I didn't know this existed. I didn't know this kind of nutrition existed, because now it's coming a lot of in vogue that the pre-cooked food, human grade pre-cooked food. And you say, great, it's human grade. Wow, no bacteria at all.
We know that's not true, though.
And we want the bacteria.
Well, and what amazes me is what the comments I'll get that they'll say, I want to see the science behind this. And it's like, why should we have to prove that real food is what our body needs? Whereas
nature,
I don't see any studies that says that kibble is actually what a dog needs. You show me that study and make it a good study, and then we can talk. There is no such thing as a study that shows that kibble is preferential. It's just that the kibble companies have all these studies that show that their food is better than somebody else's food. but it doesn't show that kibble is actually what your dog should have.
Of course not, because kibble goes into the market just by completing the checkbox, the list of ingredients, minimal necessaries you need to feed a dog without him dying.
Right.
And the trials are just last like 3 months. Mm-hmm. They don't last longer. So after 3 months, the dog comes out alive with the kibble. It's ready to go for the market, and that's a big mistake.
Yeah, that's why I always say that's surviving versus thriving, and eventually it does catch up with them. And I think that's where modern science is really. I mean, I am a science nerd. I love science. But when it interferes with the intuitive knowledge that our bodies have, that's where I have to, figure out how to balance those two. And it seems like that's what you're doing too.
Yeah. Yes, we're trying just to get everything balanced and just making sure. I mean, since I started to get variety, I just got like a peace of mind. Like, yes, mm-hmm. it's wide, it's natural, it's fresh, it's local, and it has 100% traceability, which is awesome. We like to say, like the people, like from where you get your sourcing, and I just say, imagine your dog is eating free in La Sierra del Tigre. We have a mountain here, so. Okay. Just like your dog is hunting around, it's healthy, it's eating different species,
right?
And it happens to all the carnivores, cats, ferrets, obligate carnivores. Also, they need their variety in their proteins.
Absolutely. I think that's hard, but cats are a whole different animal because they're so hard to get variety with because they're so funny about their food.
They're really fussy, but yeah. I have learned to help the owners to make a transition to their cat. Mm-hmm. So their cats can eat raw, and it's really, I mean, it's nourishing to me to see that more and more cat owners come to us and they want to use the raw feeding as well. And since I have ferrets, also we have ferret customers as well. And the vets are like, these are the most healthy ferrets I ever seen, because ferrets can get insulinoma. Yep. Which is just by processing carbohydrates, and ferrets are just feed carbs.
Well, and that's the same with cats. These kibble companies are feeding them 40 to 60% carbs, and cats are obligate carnivores, and then they wonder why they're getting diabetes and all these other metabolic issues. So
there's a lot of crystals in the urine, diabetes, like you say. But the other thing is that cat food also comes with more attractants than the dog food. Mm-hmm. So it makes the cat food is kind of addictive.
Absolutely. And they do that on purpose because they want your cat to only like that cat food.
Yes. So that's the thing. So there's a lot of different ways to make a transition to processed food to raw food. If your cat is fussy, for example, it's pretty easy. You can go. Mm-hmm. He will starve in one moment.
Yeah, no. So the main difference that I hear is that you have a big difference in nourishing versus feeding, and that's where your tagline to Nourish is not to just feed. Is that correct? Yeah.
Is that correct? That's a baseline. That's a secret of a healthy dog.
Yes, and so in nourishing with whole food ingredients that provide all those cofactors and those vitamins and minerals that belong together and how they work together. And
yes, because like I said at the beginning, people think that organ it's an extra in the food.
Yeah.
And organs some people say like, I got this filet mignon for my dog and I have to get it without any fat and no bones and just the plain meat. And I'm just like dying in the inside, like, no. You need to order in this order, please. Organ meats, fats, then you can cover the meat. But you need to get the organs and the fat as well, because some people think that they need to get out the fat from the food. Mm-hmm. Because its dog is getting fat. No, it's getting fat because of the carbs, not because of the fat.
And the same with pancreatitis. People, oh, my dog will get pancreatitis if I give it any fat. It's the excessive carbs that dog is exposed to on a day-to-day basis. That is what, and I did come across a couple studies that actually prove that, but again, the kibble companies are not letting you know that. They're still blaming it on which, yes, if your dog is fully on kibble and it gets into something very fatty, that can push it over the edge, but that's because they've been on that kibble for so long.
In a mono diet, so they won't be able to process any other kind of food. That's the thing.
Yeah. And so again, that's where that misinformation comes in, and it's so frustrating because we want those, we need to prep the body correctly. Otherwise, you can have some issues, but that's because you're not feeding your dog correctly.
Yeah, I've been getting lots of dogs that they come with a veterinarian formula, natural food, homemade food, and the list of bottles and supplements, it's immense. And it's like, how expensive it's to nourish your dog if you can have them season. I mean, here in Guadalajara, in Mexico, we eat tacos, and in tacos we don't have just beef tacos or meat tacos. We have eye tacos, brain tacos.
Yeah.
We have the organ meat. People loves organ meat here in the taco.
Yeah, that's not common here, at least where I am. Although I think more people are realizing that we should be eating organs. But I myself never grew up on that. So I actually take desiccated organs that a friend of mine puts together when they butcher cows. So they do the heart, kidney, and liver, and she makes these nice little desiccated capsules that I take those. They're all natural. But
also, I take dehydrogenated capsules of cows' uterus and everything all together. I have brains. I mean, even if they don't taste, of course, I just swallow them like
right.
They will taste something awful. But my aha moment, I got it once. I was watching a Eskimo documentary. They live in the frozen last part of the earth, and they cannot grow fruits or vegetables.
Right.
So they kill seals and they eat first the organ meat after they eat the meat. But first they go into the organ meat because that's where all the dense nutrients are that can be used by your body.
Absolutely. Well, you watch a documentary with a carnivore taking down an animal, and that's the first thing they eat is the organs, and then they go on to the rest. Yeah.
Yes, and it's the same with the lions and
any of them. So
let's try to get some organs, and if you cannot get all organs at once, you can try to use a variant. Once you got lungs and then you got testicles. I got testicles too.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the hardest thing for people in a lot of areas in the US to source is organs. And so that may be one thing that they go out and buy a supplement for, if you will, but it's a natural organ supplement. Yes. And I think, that's fine if that's what you can find. Because sometimes it is hard to source some of the other organs, and especially, some of the urban areas here in the US. I am fortunate to live in rural Tennessee where I can get, pretty much whatever I want for my dog. But I know sourcing is hard for people. And that's one of the things we talk about in the workshop. So it sounds like you have the ability to source all that pretty much.
Yeah, we consider that we are pretty lucky. We have the Wild Boars farm. It's like 50 minutes away from here. And we have buffaloes. Water buffaloes, which I like the most. We have deer, dog, lambs, and all of them, they have a cycle that is respected. We respect everything. We use the cows for the milk and different cows for the meat, because even the quality of the milk is different depending of the cow.
Of course, yeah.
So, and we try to get grass-fed cows, chickens that they get the sun rays, which is pretty important. The sun change totally the color of the skin and the meat. For example, the chicken we have, it seems like turkey, it's pretty pinkish and white. Not yellow, because the yellow color, you get it because they feed the chickens yellow to get the color. So it's a misconception we have from all the marketing and the industrialization. It's normal.
Yeah.
But we need to look back again to the basics, not complicate us that much. Just get what we have at our reach and try to do the best with that.
So if a new dog, if a dog owner comes in and they're totally new to this concept, how do you get them started?
I ask them, like, sometimes, like, your dog is healthy? Yeah, super healthy. Is he on its weight? Yeah, he's on his perfect weight. So I have like a graphic and I say, like, this is his perfect weight. And they all the time say, like, no, it's overweight. We are used to see overweighted dogs. I mean, you don't see a fat dog, but you see this kind of cylinder shaped body. And sometimes I tell them, like, this is because of all the sodium that comes also into the food, which makes the dog retain liquids. So usually it's just not overweight because of the fat, or it's just liquid that are retained. So that's quite important to understand. So when they say, like, what do you mean? And I say, like, I mean, we feed whatever we eat whatever we want every day. We eat different every day. But your dog, it's eating the same every day. Or you switch even the kibble flavors or brands, and they say, like, no, I don't. And I say, like, so that's why your dog, no, if I give to my dog something different than kibble, he will get diarrhea. Well, because he cannot process any other kind of food because he has a mono diet. It will happen the same to you if you had a mono diet, and they're just like, oh, okay. I try to attack them by the logical way, just to help them to realize that it's obsolete what we are doing right now with our food and the dog's food, or best companion friends, because my dog, for me, it's my family. They are my family. My ferrets and my dogs are my family. So I try to right now, my dog is 14 years. I have a pit bull, and he just started to have a little bit of mobility issues. So I just got him this Boswellia, which is an extract, pretty good for inflammation, instead of using corticoids for him because he's 14 and I don't want just to stress out his organs. He's been fed raw all his life, and you can see the difference with a dog that is raw fed, thriving, like you said before, than just a dog that is eating the best kibble in the city. So it's just try to understand that when people, they don't want to switch the kibble because they are afraid. Even if you explain everything, they are just like,
I know.
No, I don't want to leave the kibble because this is dog food backed by scientific explanations, and they have different shapes for their teeth and the brands. Okay, I get it. But the dog comes designed to eat bones and meat, no matter how the size is. His dentals are like, they have, they have it to eat meat and bones. So, and the acid also is important because some people say, like, oh, what about salmonella? Or what about if he goes fierce with eating meat, And I'm just like,
all those things come up.
Yes, and you are more aggressive? No, okay, I just wanted to know. Do you eat carpaccio, which is raw? Yes. And you feel aggressive after eating carpaccio? No, of course not. Well, I don't think your dog will become more aggressive by eating red meat and raw meat. And I think it's going to be more docile because it's going to behave different, because it's going to feel with energy and how do you say, light, it's going to feel light and full of energy. So that makes a difference in the behaviors of the dogs. So when it's hard to convince them, I'm just tell them, like, I give it for free, the food for 1 week for your dog. Nice. No, how come? Take it. No, but the only The only rule is that you don't have to feed him any of the kibble. But what about the transition? You don't need it. You don't need it sometimes, even if the dog has been a senior dog. In my cases, sometimes they don't need a transition. They just switch perfectly without any issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing when a dog will do that naturally, transition. And to me, they're so intuitive again that they're like, oh, yes, this is what I need. I know a friend of mine that is not a raw feeder. She put up on Facebook that her dog keeps going into her garden and eating all the vegetables. And I'm like, why do you think that is?
He's trying to say something.
Exactly.
Or what about the dogs that licks the walls or the stones?
Yes.
It's not normal that your dogs wants to eat the wall.
Right.
It's lacking something. So yeah.
So again, looking at your dog and seeing what's going on and observing what is happening. Why does my dog eat grass? We get that all the time. And so
why my dog eat grass.
Well, this has been a great conversation. We're about out of time, but I really, really enjoyed it. I am so looking forward to seeing you again in October. I know that the stuff that you sent me home with, my dog absolutely loved. So I'm excited to get more of your products and seeing you there at the summit. So any of you that would love to meet Odette in person, join us at the Feed Real Summit on October 11th and 12th. We are so excited for it. We have so many amazing partners and speakers and workshops, and it's just going to be.
I love it. I feel in paradise each time I'm there.
Amazing. I know. It's so exciting. So hopefully you've gotten your tickets. If not, go to the Feed Real /Summit and get those tickets before they're all sold out. I know we're getting low on them. So yeah. And
of course, I'm bringing freeze-dried organ blends.
Okay. Great. Those are awesome. The dogs love them. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody that was on. We love to have you on with us. And Odette, I can't wait to see you again. Take care.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay.